Asking, asking, asking. Ask as if you expect it to happen. Hello, this is Diane Klein, and I'm on here with the Fearless Online Entrepreneurs, and we come together and we mastermind. And right now we're talking about the book that Jack Canfield wrote, The Principles to Success. And today we are on, I believe it's Principle 17. Let me double check here because I was reading it a little bit in here, so give me 2 seconds. Yes, Principle 17, and it's all about asking. Asking, and how do we ask? What's the science behind asking, and what are you supposed to expect when you ask? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce Jody. Jody Millie is with me here today, and we are expecting some other ladies to join us. But right now you will have to bear with us. It's just the Canadians. So we will be expecting our US friends here on in a few minutes. Yay, Jody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first part of this because it struck me really hard, because I'm going to share with you right now and say, you know, I had to learn how to ask. I'm one of those people who will drive around for 40 minutes trying to find something without stopping at the store and asking. So that's me. My husband will stop and ask, and he will stop and he's the opposite. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first part here because it's really good, and then we'll talk about this. Jody will come out and we'll discuss it with you. And what I'd like to ask you as the audience to do is send us some questions. If you have any questions, we're going to keep checking back here on the panel and see if you left any questions for us, and we'll discuss them with you right here on the mastermind. Okay, so here goes. Ask, ask, ask. And if you're in the book, it's on page 139, Principle 17. And you've got to ask. Asking is, in my opinion, the world's most powerful and neglected secret to success and happiness. And this is Percy Ross. He's a self-made multimillionaire and philanthropist. Sorry if I've mispronounced that. But I'm going to read this first part here as well. History is filled with examples of incredible riches and astounding benefits people have received simply by asking for them. Yet, surprisingly, asking, one of the most powerful success principles of all, is still a challenge that holds most people back. If you're not afraid to ask anybody for anything, then skip over this chapter. But if you're like most people, like me, you may be holding yourself back by not asking for the information, assistance, support, money, and time that you need to fulfill your vision and make your dreams come true. And then it goes on to say why people are afraid to ask, and most of the time they're afraid of experiencing rejection. They're afraid of hearing the word no. The sad thing is that they're actually rejecting themselves in advance. They're saying no to themselves before anyone else even has a chance to. When I was a graduate student, and then he goes on to talk about, well, maybe I'll quickly read this. It's actually quite good. When I was a graduate student at the School of Education in the University of Chicago, I participated in a self-development group with 20 other people. During one of the exercises, one of the men asked one of the women if she found him attractive. I was both shocked by the boldness of the question and embarrassed for the asker, fearing that he might get as a response. As it turned out, she said that she did. Emboldened by his success, I then asked her if she found me attractive. After this little experience in bold asking, several of the women told us that they found it unbelievable how scared men were when it came to asking women for a date. She said, "You reject yourself before you even give us a chance to take the risk. We might say yes. So don't assume that you are going to get a no. Take the risk of asking for whatever you need and want. If they say no, you are no worse off." So that really struck me here today, and I want to share with you when I discovered the idea that it's so much easier to ask. It's so much easier for it. You don't want to do stuff alone. Let's put it that way. I mean, I'm a believer. I believe in God. And when I ask for something, I learned a long time ago that I need to expect it. Because I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I'm a wife of a recovered alcoholic, and I say recovered is because he's been sober for over 6 years. And it took me a long time to understand that my prayers that I'm praying are not going to happen if I don't expect it. And I remember reading, I think it was A Chicken Soup of the Soul, where this woman was telling how she wanted to get married to this guy. She was single and she really wanted to get married and have a lover. And she wrote everything down that she possibly could think of that she wants this guy to be. And it was also about money as well, that she wanted to go on a yacht and she wanted to go on cruises and stuff. And then it struck me, oh my goodness, I keep praying and asking God to sober my husband, and I'm not expecting him to answer my prayers. What is wrong with this picture? So that's just a little bit of awakening that I had at that time that I just thought I'd throw out here. So does anybody on the panel want to come out and talk about this, the first part here about asking?
You know what's kind of funny is the fact that, you know, time and time again when I'm business coaching or you and I are chatting and stuff like that, it all does come to that basic fear of not asking. And I remember a couple of years ago when I was business coaching one of my downline ladies, and she was really struggling. It was in a home party plan business where you go into other people's homes and do home parties. And she started with a lot of shows, and then all of her shows drizzled down to nothing almost. And so she phoned me, and she was crying and upset. And luckily for her, this was one of my people who lived in the same town. So I said to her, well, would you mind if I join you on your next show? And then, you know, I can kind of help you pinpoint what's happening. So I went with her to the show, and she did a really great demo, and she did everything that I taught her. She had it set up just optimally to get the most sales and stuff, and then she did her door prize and things like that. And then we went into the kitchen, so I told her, you know, like I'd help her with, like, I'm just there to be a fly on the wall, basically. Support you, help you if other people have questions, but this is obviously your show. So we went into the kitchen, and I went through the door prize slips. I'm like, oh, okay, excellent. She actually had about 4 people say yes, because it asked you on the door prize slip, do you want to have a party? And I think there's about 14 people there, and a couple of them had said yes, right? So I watched her. When these people then came up, she didn't ask. and I didn't let it go, because I'm like, oh. And so as she was, you know, giving their last checks and stuff like this, and then one of the people were about to walk away, and I remember just grabbing her day planner and say, oh, excuse me, I noticed that you had said yes to booking a show. Here are her open dates. Choose from this, and I'll get you the hostess package. And then afterwards, I mean, she left then with 3 or 4 shows in her pocket because people had actually said yes, but she was too scared to ask for the date. So there's a lot of times, especially in business, that we do have people asking, and maybe we're not open to the subtle clues. I mean, that one was pretty obvious, right? They said that they want to have a show and you just had to set a date. But there's so many other things that I think that people are nudging you that they're interested, but we're too scared to ask, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Thank you for sharing that. And that would have probably been me right there a couple of years ago. So there you go. Hi, Eugenia. How are you? Oh, you seem to be muted or something. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. She's like, oh.
Okay, so we're just going to move on while she unmutes here. And the next part here is there's a specific science to asking for and getting what you want or need in life. So what Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen did is they wrote out a few of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions. I'm not going to read the whole things. So the first one is ask as if you expect to get it. The second one is assume you can.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, ask someone who can give it to you. In other words, if you need a loan or a business, or you need something in your business or a donation, if you're into volunteer work, ask someone who can. Ask a business that can donate that. Number 4, be clear and specific. And that's what we've been talking about here a lot, is if you are as clear and specific as you possibly can with your goals and your intentions for the month, and you put them out there, you will get them. I have shared on here before, I put on, I will have Monopoly at so-and-so date. So if you put on there the date and the time, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, the more specific you are, the more your mind will understand what you want. Number 5 is ask repeatedly. So don't get carried away with just saying, okay, I want to have this and this and this. You have to keep reminding yourself. You have to keep telling yourself this is what you want. And this is one of the most important principles of success, is persistence. If we give up, we don't get anywhere. As if we keep persisting, we keep going for it. Now imagine this. Imagine somebody's going out there and they're going to start building a house, and they did the foundation of the house and the cementing and everything. And oh my goodness, something's wrong with the blueprint with the rest of the part of the house. Are they just going to stop there? The house will never get finished if the builder stops right there. Think of that in your business. If you come on a bump on the road, figure it out. Push through it. If you have to call somebody to ask for help, then just do it.
And I'd like to say in here, the ask repeatedly just reminds me of be persistent like a child. All the moms here know exactly what that is. My daughter, I'll use for an example, has been wanting an iPad mini probably for the last several months. So she'd always start with, can I get an iPad mini? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, let's go to date. I'm like, no. Can I get an iPad mini the next day? Why don't you try earning it? So then she did some work for my dad. That's what she said. Hey, Grandpa, I need to earn some money for an iPad mini so I can go and get an iPad mini. So, kids being kids, is that because she had some birthday money from March, and then she had some money from Grandpa and little odds and ends here, and then us paying them for their help around the house and stuff. But, they're teenagers, so a little bit of it got eaten up. And then she was at the 200 mark, and they went on sale. So, of course, she comes to me again. Can I get an iPad mini? I'm like, no, I don't have that right now. Otherwise, I would. How long is it on sale for? And then she looked it up and stuff. So then she phones my mom. Grandma, can I get an iPad mini? And then my mom's like, well, whatever. And she knows that she's been looking for it on sale and stuff like that. And that's how she roped Grandma into it. So Grandma funded the rest of the iPad mini. So that was a couple weeks ago, and for the last week she's gotten her iPad mini. And why? Because kids aren't afraid of the word no. But we are. We are so afraid of that. And then my son, who many of you know, he's a guy who always kind of walks behind me with doing the rabbit ears and stuff like that. A little funny man. And he's pretty persistent too. But then he has a different way of asking us. I mean, Elizabeth's pretty direct. Can I have this? Are you going to help me? And Grayson words his of, now I know you might say no, but can so-and-so sleep over tonight? And you know what? His approach of doing that is so unique, because we're already saying, okay, he realizes I'm going to say no, but he really wants a yes. How creative is that? I just love that.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how our kids all have these different personalities? And yes, it's so true. And he did mention in here that people are just so scared of rejection. And I think as we go through life and we're getting rejection, we just kind of put up the wall that we don't want to ask anymore. And what we'd like to say to you out there listening, and to ourselves as well, I'm working on this myself, and I'm doing this every day. I know it works.
Yeah.
So if you keep persistent, and if you keep telling yourself, and if you just put yourself out there and just break down that wall of knowing that they can very easily say yes. So just make a habit of knowing and expecting what you want when you ask, and it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make a quote on that. I was one of the people that used to be very hard to ask things, especially help-wise. And I always had that fear of rejection, of getting a no, 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 no. I tried several times, but nothing happened. And finally, I said, well, I will keep trying until I will find somewhere the help that I need. And that was hindering me back from moving forward on my business. And it just happened that I kept insisting until finally I said, well, I want you to be my mentor. Will you be willing to be my mentor? And everything opened. So never feel afraid of being persistent, asking, being straightforward. Don't go around the loop, and just ask. If they say no, you will find somebody else. And I found myself sharing these things with amazing ladies, amazing moms, just like me. And we are all struggling with different things, different issues in our lives. And it's just amazing.
And you know what? Exactly. And you know what separates people, I think, who do move forward in life versus the one who stay in that fear-based? The biggest difference is that, you know, we realize, so we've, you know, it's like a honey-do list, or what are the pros and the cons even, you know. Even if you're stuck, that's a really, really good thing to do. You know, write down the pros and cons, and then the cons a lot of time is what's really holding us back when we're looking at certain situations. And I'd have to say that the biggest thing between successful people, and everyone measures their success different, and those who aren't, is the fact that we're able to ask for the help we need. We're specific about the help we need, and we will go through a Rolodex of, you know, people to help us to get where we need to be. And we're not afraid, well, maybe not afraid, but I'm pretty blunt and out there with people, and I'll say, who can help me with this? And then, you know, you'll get a phone call to someone else or whatever. But the biggest thing that separates us from a lot of people who may be struggling is the fact that we realize those struggles, we face them, and then we've put into action how to finish it. You know, he says in here that there's a telling statistic here on page, I can't see that because I got my screen split here, but there's a telling statistic here of how many times you need in a business to get a no, which personally, I'm not really very good with no's. But 44% of all salespeople quit after the first call, 24% quit after the second call, 14% quit after the third call, and 12% quit after they've contacted their prospect for the fourth call. So that means 94% of all salespeople quit. Okay? But this is what separates those from success and not success, is that we are persistent. Just exactly what Diane said. We know each day if we do X, Y, and Z, we're going to get the results of X, Y, and Z. And if you're persistent with that, you know, God will reward you. That's all I could say. It's awesome.
Absolutely, Jody. I totally agree. And you know, as you were talking, I was thinking it's actually not that hard to start asking. And once you start the first time, it's kind of just like you're on a roll, because it feels better and better and better. And then you realize that, oh, people are actually not always rejecting you. You are getting yeses. So then it feels even more, and then you're spurred on even more just to go ahead and ask. And we're not talking about dumb questions here that, I'm sorry to say the word, but you have to also work on yourself and go out there and learn how to find stuff. Don't just think that you have to ask every single step of the way, right? Yeah. You have to be persistent, and you have to know, but you're the business owner and you're the one that's running your business, so you have to act like the CEO of that business. So you have the responsibility of first trying to find out for yourself. Now I'll give you an example of what happened here last night. We were trying to set up, we got this new smart TV sent from Samsung, and we were trying to set up a keyboard on it for the kids. We bought a wireless keyboard, and because I said the kids can't go on my computer, they can be on that one. So we bought this keyboard, which is where we couldn't set it up. So I said, you know what? After half an hour, I'm not going to waste my time on this. I'm calling them tomorrow. I mean, I'm just not technically wire-oriented.
Did you find the little thing on the back of the keyboard hidden in a secret compartment?
No, but there were buttons back there that we pushed. We'll have to check that out. There's a secret compartment.
I'll just tell you, and I'll help you with that because you just said that. So I have a wireless keyboard here, and on the back of your wireless keyboard, kind of, it'll be in here, probably where the battery is, but there'll be a little chip card thingy in there. So you got to take that out, and it's like a USB port kind of, and then you put it into the TV. Sorry, sold lots of TVs. Know that.
Oh, thank you. So you've probably helped out there a lot of ladies today,
There
Joe.
you go. And then the other thing here is, as you were saying that, this is what I have. I'm a sticky note queen. In fact, I even put a little sticker on there that I love stickies on my on my new computer here. This one here, so just so you know, so this is what I look at every day. And what this says, are you confused? And inspiration is the product of being confused and asking questions. And just when you had said, you don't want to feel dumb by asking questions, but you know what? A lot of people are confused when they're starting something new and they don't quite know, and my kids are getting rowdy behind me. But inspiration is the key. It's the product of being confused and asking questions. And usually when you start asking questions and you get simple answers like that, inspiration just hits, and you'll find that one little bit of confusion will lead to, 5 different spokes of being inspired in other ways.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you, Julie. And like I said, once you get over that first hump, for me it was like, okay, it worked. I can do this again. Hi, Sharon. How are you?
I'm fine, ladies. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. We're talking about asking.
Oh, okay.
So we're on.
Asking you shall receive.
That's correct. Actually, that's the next part here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to go on here. Sorry. Okay, so the next part here is ask and it shall be given to you. And so that's what we've been talking about, is that you have to expect what you ask for. And like Jody and myself and Eugenia have been saying, is that the more you do it, the more you start expecting it. And Eugenia was sharing earlier, she stepped out of her comfort zone and she asked the mentor. Can you help me? So there you go. Now she's finding that everything is falling in place for her, and for most of us, that's how it was. Once we started growing and working on ourselves and becoming confident, we were not afraid to step out and ask. And our business has grown from that because we stepped out of that little fear of asking, and we decided to take the step. Okay, I'm going to ask. And from there, it just started happening. So the next thing as we move on here is you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by asking. So I think that's so true, because when you kind of start realizing that all they can say is no, and then you move on to the next person, then what's the big deal? You didn't lose anything from what was there in the first place because you didn't have it yet. You were just going to ask for it because you didn't have it. So if they say no, oh well, shake it off and let's move on. If you're trying to build your team on your business and people are saying no, or people are rejecting it or something like that, then just move on. Next. Who's next? You kind of have to get that mindset and not dwell. And I will be blunt and honest. When I first started this in 6 years, and my first online venture was calling people, when they said no, I was hurt. I felt bad, and I'm like, well, I can't do this. I can't sit here and dwell on these people that are saying no. I have to focus on who's going to say yes, because it's all about a numbers game in most businesses online. So if the more you do, the more you get. So does anybody else want to mention anything about that?
Good morning, everyone. And first, let's give an honor to our Lord and Savior who allowed us all to be here on this beautiful, beautiful morning. In the beginning, when Lucky was starting out in the online world, it was hard for him to ask for help. Because like we were saying earlier, you thought your question could be a dumb question, so you didn't want to have any dumb questions. So in order to get the information you needed, you need to get past that and say, okay, I'm going to ask. They could tell me no, but I won't know until I ask. So by asking, and we were on a great team, and they were able to answer all of our questions and get us going in the direction we needed to go in. But we had to take that first step. We had to ask for help. And sometimes asking for help is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And then, once you get the help, you need to implement whatever they tell you. So, don't ask for help and then you're not going to do what they tell you to do. And to be successful, you have to take risks. And one of the risks is the willingness to risk rejection. So, Diane was saying when she made her first call, the person said no. And that was hurtful because we weren't prepared for rejection. So, once you get prepared and you understand that people not always going to like what you have to, um, the service you're providing, because that might not solve their problem. See, when you offer a service to someone, it must solve a problem that they have. And maybe she was presenting it to someone who didn't have the problem that needed the resolution she was providing. But yeah, ask and you shall receive, and be prepared for rejection because it's going to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Wow, that was really good. Thank you for sharing that. And it's as you were speaking, I was thinking of all these people out there that are they're these newcomers online and trying to get into the internet marketing world out there, and they're like, what's wrong with me? Why can I not do this? Well, you have to not give up. You have to stay persistent. And the idea is that you have to find somebody who you are attracting to yourself. Like if you're not confident in yourself and you know that business and you don't love the business that you're doing and you don't have the passion for it, people can see that. I was just listening on the weekend. I was listening to an interview, a Skype call. Somebody was interviewing Brian Tracy, and the guy was asking, that was interviewing, was asking, what about the passion? Everybody's out there is talking about the passion in your business and stuff like that. And Brian Tracy goes, passion is totally overrated. I think if you love something that you're doing, you get good at what you're doing, passion comes through. It will shine through like a diamond. And I thought, wow, that is so true. So find something that you love doing, start learning and becoming a professional at it, and your passion will shine through. You will attract people like crazy, and we've seen that in our business that we're in here. I mean, the leaders, look at them. They're attracting all these people that are successful people, and for us ourselves too. I know Jody and I have been talking about why is it that these people start and quit, and we're like, well, we're attracting these people who are afraid, like us. Maybe that's our problem. We changed our mindset. We changed how we were thinking. And all of a sudden, we were attracting these people that were into it. They were confident. They came on board. They stayed with it. And we're like, wow, this really does work. So, just keep at it. Keep going, you guys. And don't ever stay persistent no matter what. Does anybody else want to say anything? I just want to share the last part here of the chapter. It's pretty deep. Okay, I'll go ahead and share this and we can talk about it for a minute. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty here, so we'll probably close out here in a few minutes. But the last part here, I'd like to challenge all you viewers and even us on the panel here is to start asking today. Take time now to make a list of the things that you want, that you don't ask for at home, school, or work. Next to each one, write down how you stop yourself from asking. What is your fear? There's that word again. Next, write down what it is costing you not to ask. Then write down what benefit you would get if you were to ask. Take time to make a list of what you need to ask for in each of the following 7 goal categories that I outlined in Principle 3. Decide what you want: financially, career, fun time and recreation, health, relationships, personal projects and hobbies, and contribution to the larger community. See page 32 and 33. This might include a raise, a loan, seed money, feedback about your performance, a referral, an endorsement, time off to get additional training, someone to babysit your children, a massage, a hug, or help with a volunteer project. So you see, there's all kinds of places where we're scared to step out. I mean, there's all kinds of places out there in our mind that we're saying, well, what if they say no? What we're challenging you here today is write them down. Write them down, figure out what it is that's stopping you, and then write down the benefit of what you would have if you would just start asking, you know? Does anybody else want to say anything?
I'm going to go with that too. Yay, I'm back. But you know, write it down, and what we would love is that if you went to our site, fearlessonlineentrepreneurs.com, and took some action with that, what we would love is to hear, you know, what was it that you were afraid to ask, and what were your results? Okay, because I love hearing stories, not just, you know, here on this group, we experience this just about every day. You know, there's something new that we've learned from each other, and that we've asked questions and gotten them solved and fulfilled. But we'd like to hear from you guys too. Definitely go to fearlessonlineentrepreneurs.com and tell us what was something that kept you back, and who did you ask, and what was the results. I'd love to hear those.
Yes, absolutely, Jody. And I did go back and check and see. I don't see any questions on there right now from you, but you know, you can go on our Fearless, and we do check back to that, and we do personally answer them. So we would love to hear from you. Or you can just come on board and watch this if you haven't watched it yet live. And the replay will be right on the blog there on the page. And let us know what you're lacking. Let us know what your experience is. We are pretty open with you. We shared everything that we're about here, and we're honest and open, and we're here to give you value. So if there's something you need help with, or if you need help asking, then just come on board with us and ask us, and we can maybe walk you through that, because we've experienced the same thing as you. So with that being said, if nobody else has anything to contribute, I will close us out. Calling once, calling twice, gone. So let's close down here. We are here every day we've changed back from the summer hours to 12 noon now. So we are here at 12 noon Eastern time, and we come on here and we mastermind together, and we love you coming to join us. We are pretty open here, and we talk about different things to mastermind to help us grow our business and in our lives and everything. We are we're just here for you, you know. I mean, if there's anything, it doesn't matter what it is in your business that you're stuck with, then you know what, just step out of your comfort zone and ask, and do take the time to take on the challenges that we give you here on these calls, because that's what we do, and that's what helps us to grow in our business as well, is because we're not just reading this book, we're actually doing this assignments, and we're challenging each other and asking, did you get this done, or let's get this going, or something like that. Because when a group of us get together and we mastermind like that, that's just incredible. It helps us to grow. So that's it for now. We will see you again tomorrow. We're here from Monday through Thursday every single day at 12 Eastern. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.